All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, November 21st. We got 5 NBA games to jump into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'll give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total, but all of my final plays, so what I'm actually rolling with myself. If you do want to fade me, those plays will be in the pinned comment. Coming off a nice little profitable day yesterday. Yes, it was close to a sweep, but I won't cry over profit. We go 2-1. The Knicks and T-Wolves cash their over, and then the Heat on the money line, that cashes as well. The Knicks Pelicans, I feel like we had a chance at that one, but a couple bad legs in the same game parlay. But like I said, not crying over profit. We're starting to string some profitable days together, which is a good thing. And sticking in the good things realm here, our ride of the day, let's pump in some crowd noise. Our ride of the day cashes as well. Coming in from real Aaron Gordon, over 25 PRA. He did just barely get it done. Good thing he had a good point or rebound and assist night, because he finishes with 27 PRA. So let's cash it, guys. If you do want to be the ride of the day, or a chance to be the ride of the day, all you got to use is hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me an absolute banger of a pick, and I'm picking one person's play in the comments, jumping on board with you. Then you guys get a shout out in the next video, win or loss. Now, speaking of the next video or videos, we are going to be traveling. I told you guys yesterday. So for the next week or so, we'll have some sort of a makeshift setup. The videos may be a little bit shorter. We might, I hope we don't miss a day. We're fairly consistent on the grind and whatnot, but we are going to be traveling. So keep an eye on the community tab on our YouTube channel. Just go to our homepage, the YouTube channel for this, the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel page, and then go to the community tab, and I'll keep you guys posted there in terms of, if videos are going to be later or whatnot. We'll be in a different time zone, all that stuff. Still want to get the videos out to you guys, but I want to give you the fair warning of, hey, might look a little different, might sound a little different. We're still going to grind our asses off. But let's go ahead and jump into this first game. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting it off with the Orlando Magic taking on the Toronto Raptors. Right now on the season, Orlando 8-5 straight up, 10-3 against the spread, and they're 3-2 at home. Toronto really yet to kind of get the momentum swinging in their direction. They haven't been able to string a bunch of good basketball together. They're 6-7 on the year, 7-6 against the spread, so positive there, but just 2-3 on the road. Orlando, though, I think, long term, this Toronto team, if they keep their guys, there are trade rumors and whatnot. If they do keep their guys, I do think Toronto's probably a better team long term. But right now, Orlando's playing good basketball. They've won 5 of their last 6 games against the spread. They've won 4 of their last 5 games straight up. And this Toronto team, I don't put in like that. Like I said, they still got some work to do. I don't put them in an upper echelon. So Orlando, the teams that they're beating are the Chicagos. I guess you can give them credit that they beat Indiana and Milwaukee. Like, they're beating some teams that you could say are just as good or better than Toronto. Not necessarily Chicago, but you get the point here. I'm going to lean towards Orlando -1.5. In terms of the total, 215. It's tough because I could see this one being sub 220, but I don't know if I'm confident rolling with an under 215. So I'll slight lean towards the under. I doubt it becomes a final play. One thing I will mention about this game, a couple good spots here for position defense. So both Toronto and Orlando do have some defense positions that they cover well. Toronto covers the shooting guard fairly well, and then Orlando, one of the better positions they cover is going to be the small forward and the shooting guard. So if you guys are player prop players or throwing those into parlays or same game parlays, maybe consider looking at something like that. But yeah, I wanted to do a little extra digging from the player prop side because I don't really love this game altogether. But again, in terms of leans, Orlando -1.5 and then the under, but the under is a very slight lean. I actually almost forgot to mention we still have our, obviously, because it goes through Cyber Monday, but our Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday sale going live on the Fade Me store as of right now. 40% off t-shirts, or up to 40% off t-shirts. You'll see here that most of them are sitting in that $19.99 range, but we have tons of t-shirts on sale, and then we also have a great deal going on right now as well. That is, if you buy a full price hoodie or sweatshirt, you can get a hat for 50% off. You got to use code BFHOOD, BFHOOD at checkout for that, guys. Fade Me, go check out the store, fademe.store. I'll put all that information in the pinned comment as well. But if you've been on the fence about supporting and getting some merch, this is a great time to do so. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2 in this spot, which should be a pretty good game. I know the spread indicates that Philly should whoop them, but Philly taking on Cleveland right now. Philly 7.5 point favorite, which again makes sense. This is a really good Philly team, but Cleveland, like I told you, I think they're going to get better and better and better. I just don't know exactly when. Like, they're coming off a really good win against Denver. They didn't cover against Detroit, but they have won 3 straight games and 4 of their last 5. But this is a Philly team that I think is just asserting their dominance in many ways, right? They beat Atlanta by 10 points. They beat Brooklyn by, 22 points. And if everyone plays and no one's injured, which as of right now, no one is injured on the Philly side of things, I think that they are a pretty safe bet, especially at home. Now, a couple injuries on the Cleveland side of things, which, is definitely worth noting here. Donovan Mitchell is out, so that is absolutely massive. Now, they played really well against Denver without him, but still, nonetheless, arguably their best player, or maybe not even arguably, is out, and Karis LeVert is questionable here as well. Again, these guys kind of stepped up and played well. Darius Garland, I think, had 26 points against, Denver the other night, but I do still think Donovan Mitchell against a Philly team is a tough spot. So I'm going to go ahead and lean towards the Phillies, the Philadelphia 76ers, -7.5 in this spot. In terms of the total, we're sitting at a number that perplexes me, and let me get into why. I would have put this total right around the 225.5 mark. This is a Cleveland team that, they've had plenty of overs hit this season. They've had more overs hit than unders. And then same thing for the Sixers. And we're seeing the Sixers, like, literally their offense is dropping 120 per game. And this isn't the Cleveland defense of last year. This is a Cleveland defense that's kind of middle of the pack, right around league average when it comes to points per game allowed. And same thing, Philly's defense is kind of starting to drift back a little bit because they've been in these high scoring games. So it's a little weird to me that it's set at 220.5. It's almost like one of those line reading situations that I tell you guys about, like, read the line, understand it. I like the over here, but I don't know if I play it just because Vegas is setting this way lower than I would have thought. And if the bookmakers are comfortable doing that out the get, then I'm kind of like head scratching, like, what do they know, that we may not know? And this could be a situation of that. So if you see this line at 220.5, I would say, do your due diligence and definitely overthink it, because this is an interesting line here. Again, my immediate, even analytics and gut reaction is over 220.5 easy, right? But why is that line there? Why are they comfortable with that? Just a little questionable. So do some due diligence on that one for sure. But again, I like the Sixers here -7.5, and you might catch me falling for what I even consider a trap, the over. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. We've done crazier things on the channel. Okay, Atlanta taking on Indiana. We'll start with a total here because the total set at 251, which is mind-blowing, but at the same time, so easy to conceptualize with these two teams. You have Atlanta, a really fast and high-scoring offense, terrible defense. You have Indiana, a really high-scoring offense, terrible defense. So it is a little interesting to I guess, see that total that high, but it makes a little bit of sense to me. Now, I'm not touching it. Like, you guys know that I actually, to some degree, like, I like unders, right? And I like spotting under spots because I think that a lot of people don't like to bet unders, and there's some value there, or at least some chance for, books don't adjust accordingly. 251, like, it's so weird. I'm not comfortable taking the over, but I feel like you're a dummy if you take the under with these two teams. So, unfortunately, this is a stay away game for me in terms of a total. What I really like in this game is some sort of a same game parlay potential. This total is up there, 251, so the bookmakers think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Why not take a peek at some player props in a same game parlay? So, I'm not guaranteeing it, but there's a strong chance we post a YouTube short later with a same game parlay for this specific game. So keep an eye out for that. I'll obviously link it as a play in the pinned comment. It'll take you to the YouTube short, making it kind of convenient for you. But in terms of a spread pick, it says 3.5 here on the screen, but it's actually moved up to +4. You can get it for +4 over on FanDuel, which is, I think, the direction I lean in. This Indiana team, they looked so bad against Orlando. In fact, they only lost by 12 points, right? 128 to 116. That almost is like a misrepresentation of that game. And we had the Pacers -4.5 in that game, right? But they absolutely stunk it up. They lost by 21 in the first quarter. They lost by 13. These are just quarter by quarter. 13 in the third quarter. They won the second quarter. They won the third quarter, and then won the fourth quarter, which makes that sort of the 128 to 116 look a little bit closer. But they were down so much for the majority of that game, and it's kind of like head scratching as to how do you lose by that much. But you gotta come out fired up after that, right? So I'm going to lean towards, again, Indiana here, plus the 4 points. Atlanta, they've surprised me to some degree, but they haven't had a big win yet this year. And I think that Indiana, though they're not like the best team out there, I wouldn't say that Indiana has really cracked that really, really good team sort of threshold. I do think that Atlanta is going to have their hands full with just the Indiana offense. So I think Atlanta struggles here. Give me Indiana plus the 4 points, and I just don't have anything on the total. But keep an eye on the pinned comment for some same game parlay action. All right, Phoenix is taking on Portland here. Phoenix is minus 13 on the spread, which is a crazy number, crazy high number, I should say. The total sitting at 224.5, which is something that I'm considering looking at an over for, but I'm worried that Portland doesn't bring their offensive game. Their last 4 games here, 99 points, 95 points, 95 points, 91 points. So they're not scoring many points, and they're getting blown out like crazy here. They've had a 9.5 spread, a 10 spread, not covering either of those numbers. A little worrisome. Now, 13.5 seems like it's a little bit too high, 13 depending on where you look at it. So I don't think I'm going to be playing Portland here, but I could consider the over, but I'd have to get over the fear of Portland not, pulling their own weight. But maybe Phoenix does kind of do what they've been doing. Last 3 games for them, 133 against a good Minnesota team. Then they scored 131 and then 140 against a Jazz team, which is obviously an up-tempo team here. So, yeah, I'm a little caught on the fence in this game overall. And I don't even like player props in this game because Phoenix could blow them out. But give me Phoenix minus the 13 points if I had a gun to my head, as well as the over in this spot. You should have, a fairly healthy Phoenix team, I guess, and they've been starting to play, I guess you could say, well. They're getting wins, not really covering spots here, but 3 wins in a row, and obviously Kevin Durant and Booker in the lineup together is pretty huge. So maybe this, 13 and a half, again, depending on where you look at that line. Maybe it's not all that crazy. I'm just not like super comfortable laying that, right? But I'll look at the over 224.5 in this spot as well. Apologies, guys, but I always tell you I'm not going to fake confidence on a game for content, right? I don't fake confidence for content. If I don't really like a game or it doesn't have that sexy appeal to me, I don't know if I spend the extra time to dig into it, right? Like, it doesn't have the immediate sort of signs of, okay, this is a game that has some edge. It seems like Vegas knows what they're doing. Phoenix is way better. They have a huge number attached to them, and then the total's kind of right on that iffy line, right? Like we could trust that they didn't mess up anything in this game. And not to say they've messed up anything, but I do like this spot here in the Lakers and Utah game. Right now, Lakers minus 7.5 against Utah, but Utah's been keeping games close. They're now 7-6 against the spread on the season. They've covered 4 straight games, and one of those they were favored by 7 against Portland. They won by 16. 2 of those games they were underdogs against Phoenix, and they just covered those. And then they were an underdog against Memphis, and they won that game outright. So this Utah team, I don't want to say that they're becoming a good against the spread team or anything like that. We still want to see more of a sample size, but they are covering games as of right now. Now, like I always say, Anthony Davis, LeBron James on the injury report, so keep an eye on that to see if they play. Seems like they just have been, but are just listed on the injury report, which is so early for them to just be on the injury report and then pretty much going to be on it for the rest of the year. It's really, really annoying, especially when, someone like me has to wake up at 5 a.m. and start researching games, and it's like, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, probable, questionable. It's like, well, we know they're playing, but that one time we assume they don't, they're probably not going, or assume they do, they're not going to play, right? Which is annoying as all hell. But nonetheless, both, I'm assuming, are playing like they have been. And it doesn't really matter to me. I still think that's too big of a number to give Utah. This Lakers team had, 6 points to give against Houston 2 nights ago, and they win that game by 1 point. This is a Lakers team that, in 14 games has only covered the spread 5 times here. So give me the Utah Jazz here plus the 7.5 points. Hopefully, I'm not wrong about them building some momentum here against the spread, because they have lost 2 straight games against Phoenix, but they kept those games close. So I hope that is kind of like a inspiration thing for them, that they can realize that they were in these games, and this Lakers team I don't think is as good as the Phoenix team overall, especially when healthy. So I'm gonna look at the Utah Jazz in this spot. In terms of the total, 235.5, it does sound much like a high number, doesn't it? But this is a Jazz team that has been letting up plenty of points, and they've been scoring a lot of points. The one thing I've kept on saying about them, and it's kind of a negative, is that they are shooting a bunch. They're top 10 field goal, I think a top 3 field goal attempt per game team in the league right now, and then 8th in terms of 3-point attempts, but they're just middle of the pack in terms of 3-point percent made, and then field goal percentage overall, they're a bottom 6 team, which makes it a little bit tough. That being said, this is not a great Lakers defense at all. So I do think that this one could have some up-tempo game, and especially when I say Utah, keeps this game close, it means that they should kind of push the pace, because as of right now, this Lakers team shooting the ball less. So forget anything like that, shooting the ball less than any other team in the league. They rank 30th in field goal attempts per game on the offensive end. So if this is going to be an over 235.5, I believe that Utah is going to have a lot to do with that, and that's also kind of reading into the lines here. Like, this Lakers team, I don't understand exactly why they would have a total like this. Their most recent totals have been 221, 226, 225, 221, 225. They've only got up into the 230s a couple times, and that was against the Kings, and they did hit a 235 number. So I'm going to trust that Vegas knows what they're doing by dropping this big total in this game, and I'm going to look at the over, even though it seems like a crazy high number. And that is going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 16, because you made it just about 16 minutes into the video. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with me, and we're going to have a different look in terms of the videos. Obviously, we'll probably have like a worse camera, a worse mic, not the biggest of edits going on, but we are going to, still try and grind for you guys, even though we'll be in a different time zone across the country. Still try and get the videos out. You definitely expect plenty of YouTube shorts coming out, so make sure you guys are checking those. If you aren't watching the YouTube shorts, we post one or multiple every single day. Just go to our channel and then head over to the shorts tab, and you'll find those there. We're also posting on TikTok and everything like that. So guys, we will be posting content when we are away. I just don't know what the look of the full videos will be, so keep an eye out for everything. I don't want to get the comments, where are you at, where are you going? I've told you guys for the last 3 days what's going on, but nonetheless, appreciate the hell out of you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.